What's up, Bama Insider Nation? Trinity back for the next player in our post-spring practice player spotlight. Today we're going to be talking about another running back, another speedster, Roydell Williams. Before we get into this video, hit the like button for me, guys. Subscribe to the channel and check out the rest of our YouTube and BamaInsider.com for all things Alabama football. Roydell Williams is originally from Hueytown, Alabama, where he attended Huey High School. He was one of the top players in the state of Alabama and one of the best running backs in the nation coming out of high school. He was a consensus 4-star prospect. Rivals had him listed as the number 90 player in the Rivals 100, the 7th ranked running back in the country, and the number 3 player in the state of Alabama. He was selected to play in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. He was first-team All-State in 2018 and a second-team selection as a sophomore in 2017. It's for good reason, guys. He accounted for 3 straight 1,000-yard rushing seasons, and he finished with a career total of 5,929 rushing yards, along with 84 touchdowns on the ground and 92 touchdowns overall. Really spread out his stats throughout his whole career. His senior year, he had a little over 1,200 yards, he had 24 touchdowns, and he had injuries that year that limited him as well. His junior year, he had 2,757 yards, 32 touchdowns. His sophomore year, he had 1,500 yards and 24 touchdowns. In his freshman year, he was limited to just 374 yards and 4 scores, but we found out quickly who Roydell Williams was after that 2016 season. He did reach the 6A state semifinals his time at Hueytown High and had to decide between Auburn, Florida, Florida State, Kentucky, and of course Alabama, the school he ultimately decided to commit to and join up with for the 2020 season. Now, when he got to campus in 2020, the first thing he was quoted as saying was 2019 will be the last year Alabama will ever miss the college football playoff, something they had done for the first time back in 2019. Now, this past year, obviously, Alabama had a clear-cut number 1 running back. Najee Harris dominated college football this season and had some solid options behind him as well. But Roydell Williams, of course, didn't necessarily get as much playing time as you would expect with those high school numbers. But when you think about it, having to split time with the rest of the backups and Brian Robinson and Jace McClellan and Trey Sanders at time as well, it was hard for the backups this season to get many snaps in a row. He did serve on special teams as well, though, and filled in where he needed to. He had 19 rushes, 71 yards, and a touchdown on the season in 8 games of action this year. And we really saw that cheetah speed and him burst out into open field and really do some damage. It was a solid little 1-2 punch of Jace McClellan and Roydell Williams once the game started to get into it a little bit. Once we got to that 4th quarter when the score was a little bit out of hand, we saw those two get in there and make some noise. We saw it in this spring game as well. In A-Day, both McClellan and Williams got their fair share of playing time and definitely turned some heads. Now, if we talk about the depth chart and really just listed out all the running backs here in no particular order, it's hard to figure out who exactly would be first up on the list after Brian Robinson. Most people believe it is Jace McClellan. We had our video released yesterday on McClellan, more of your deep fullback kind of role, a guy that is going to be your power back at times. I think Roydell's a little bit more of your speedster, and I don't think there's necessarily a clear-cut 2, 3, 4 running back. It's just going to be situational this season for Alabama. Roydell Williams doesn't pack as much of a punch, but he is more elusive than a guy like Jace McClellan, and maybe doesn't have the ceiling of a guy like Trey Sanders, but maybe has a little bit more of a consistent background that Alabama can rely on in 2021. We talk about a scouting report here for Roydell. There's 3 things I've listed off. First thing I want to talk about is his focused footwork. As you see it here in the tape, Roydell Williams has unbelievable footwork. It allows for great cutting, of course, elite acceleration, and as you see here on the sideline, he always knows where he is, and it helps him keep in mind where his defenders are as well to break free from any kind of ankle tackle, as you see his defender in that last clip try to pull off. Second thing I gotta highlight, his Cheetah-Like speed. This dude is fast, and I know that's every running back and what you want in your running back, of course, but Roydell Williams has really set himself apart from this running back group because of his speed. It takes just a little bit of space for Roydell Williams to bust it open. While he's not going to be your Derrick Henry kind of guy that is knocking defenders down to find the open space, his footwork, like I mentioned just a second ago, sets him up well. And working with an offensive line like you have at Alabama, that's really all you need. The third thing, and probably the most important, his ghost-like elusiveness. This is a hard guy to bring down, and for different reasons than Jace McClellan like we talked about yesterday. McClellan it's hard to bring down because he's such a bull, he's so aggressive and is so stubborn with the football. Roydell Williams is just so elusive. It's almost like you have him for a split second and then you lose him. His spin moves, his stiff arms, his cuts, everything he does when he has the football is very elusive and also helps to create that open field space to show off his speed and his footwork. Roydell Williams is set to make an impact on this Alabama running back group in 2021, a running back group that is deep and has a lot of options to go to. He's going to use that lightning speed, his hard to tackle movements, and a little bit of extra strength that he's put on this offseason as well, to help the Alabama fan base and the SEC realize who Roydell Williams really is. For more information on Roydell, Bama's second-year players, and all things Alabama Crimson Tide football, head to BamaInsider.com to check out the chat boards, articles, and recruiting updates from Andrew Bone and Tony Tsoukalis. Don't forget to check out the rest of our YouTube page as well by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more. For BamaInsider.com, my name is Trey Yanity. This has been a post-spring player update on running back Roydell Williams.